Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. Here I am, ready to do this detox series that we talked about on Friday. If any of you didn't see my Facebook Live on Friday, I mentioned that today and going through the rest of the week, we are going to be looking at do you need to go on a detox? And as I said on Friday, it's really fitting for this time of year because we are all coming off the holiday season and we've all overindulged. And so, our livers, our guts, our whole systems are kind of put through the ringer and in need of maybe a little bit of support in detoxifying from all of the overindulgence of this season. So today is going to be an introduction into detoxification. And these aren't going to be long series, just enough to give you good background information and to understand really what's going on in your body and why detoxification can be supported. And also, the simple things that you can do to help your body do what it's designed to do anyway. So yeah, quick little series this week, but these are not going to be long, just good tips, things that can, support you on getting yourself back on track and then getting you closer to those goals that you want to have. So, basically the big question, do I need to go on a detox? And I did cover this in the introduction Friday, but I'm going to say it again today. You don't need to go on a formal detox. You don't need to go on, supplements and a big serious regime. You don't need to, cut out a whole bunch of foods. There's not a big plan you need to make when you're detoxifying. The body is designed to detoxify. That's what your liver's for. That's what the gut helps with. That's what your lymphatic system does. When you sweat and when you exercise, all of those things, your body is designed to handle any toxins that come into it. But when we do go off of our routine and we do overindulge, like Christmas is known to do, or whichever holiday season you're celebrating, then it can be really helpful to bring you back to your center when you support the body's natural methods of detoxification. So, that's what this whole series is all about. So I'd like to just give you a little background in how the body actually does this detoxification. And, you may wonder, what is it detoxifying from? Really, you're detoxifying from any chemicals you've come in contact with in your foods. Like if you're eating cookies and cakes and sweets, there may be added colors or added flavors, any kind of chemical additive that's put in the food that is not natural and not a whole food. Your body needs to detoxify it to get it out, right? Because it doesn't absorb or utilize that material, right? So it needs to detoxify it. Also, if you're having extra fatty foods, all the nice hors d'oeuvres and cheeses and things like that we've been all eating over Christmas, those are things that your body has to package up, process, and get out as well, right? So these are the types of things that the organ systems in the body have to work extra hard at getting rid of because they're not whole foods. The body gets a little confused about what to do with them. It has to use up its own resources to package up the chemicals and get them out of the body, right? So this is why we need to support it. The main thing about detoxification, as I said, is you don't need to go on a formal detox, but you do want to support the body in the processes that are already there. So what are the processes that are already there in the body? The first one, of course, is processing of chemicals and fats and extra sugars by the liver. Sugar is a big one for the liver too, actually. The liver is what's responsible for, keeping the blood pure, right? All the blood in your body runs through your liver. It has to cleanse the blood. And when you have extra high blood sugar, the liver has to, kind of balance out your blood sugar by shunting the sugars off and storing the extra sugars as fats and all of those kind of things. So the liver is a really key organ. The liver is really the main detox system inside the whole body, actually. Every toxin that finds its way into your body has to pass through the liver on its way out. So the liver needs to be kept up to date, up in good shape and working, efficiently and well so that it can get rid of all those extra things in the body. Supporting the detox ability takes the pressure off the liver and allows it to perform its functions more efficiently, right? So that's another reason why we want to really support the liver. Then the gut is another detox system. So basically any foods that you eat have to pass through your gut before they can, get into the rest of your body. Also, the microbiome in the gut also works to help detoxify foods, right? The gut bacteria actually support the liver in its ability to detoxify as well. So keeping your gut in good shape is a really good way to make sure that you are detoxifying as well and supporting the liver's function in detoxifying. The third system in the body that helps you detoxify is your lymphatic system. The lymphatic system, carries fluid throughout the body. It's separate from the circulatory system, which carries your blood, but the lymphatic system carries fluids around your body, and it's another major player in the detoxification system of the body. Helps get waste out of the bloodstream. When you sweat, it can help you excrete waste in that way, things like that. And then after the lymphatic system, we have the kidneys. The kidneys are almost like a backup for the liver as well, right? A lot of the toxins that leave through the body leave through the urinary system. So this is how the blood passes through the kidneys. They also function in the role of detoxification. So basically, if you want to help the body in its natural detoxification methods, you have to be able to support the liver, the gut, the kidneys, and the lymphatic system. And doing those things will make the detoxification go a lot smoother, a lot faster, and cause you a lot less pain. The one thing that I really want to stress for any of you out there listening to this right now is that you really want to make sure that you don't try to speed up the body's natural detoxification too much. That's a big problem with people who actually go on those formal cleanses and detoxes. They jump onto a detox, they cut out all the bad things right away, which is fine. But in addition, they're adding supplements, they're doing other things that really, push the body's detoxification system into overdrive. Then all of a sudden, all these toxins are becoming activated, they're being dumped into the body, and you start to feel sick, right? You get headaches, you're nauseous, all sorts of bad things can happen. We call this detox reaction. And that's essentially when the detoxification, process is speeded up so fast that we don't have time to catch up with it and let these organs of detoxification do their jobs. All the toxins are coming out of the system, they're being dumped into the blood, and we feel awful. So you really don't need to be sick when you're detoxing. If you are, you're going too fast. So slow and gentle is the way to detox, trust me. It lessens any of the detox reactions and makes you feel much better. So basically what I want to cover today is liver. So the liver being the main detox organ of the body. And you may be wondering, well, my liver is probably good, or, oh, I wonder how my liver is doing, right? So if you're curious to know how your liver is functioning and if it really needs some support in its detoxification, there are some signs that maybe you could notice to know if your liver is struggling. And I don't know if you've heard the expression before, sluggish liver, but a sluggish liver refers to a liver that's kind of overloaded with toxins and it's kind of falling behind on its jobs. The liver has hundreds and hundreds of different jobs that it does in the body every day. And when it's, coping with a high amount of toxicity, then the other jobs it has to do kind of get pushed to the back. And then everything in the body starts to slow down and you start to feel certain ways or show certain signs. So this is called a sluggish liver. And some of the signs of having a sluggish liver could be digestive problems, right? A lot of you are here for digestive problems, of course. But if you notice an increase in your digestive problems, there's something going on with the gut for sure. But the liver is so connected to the functioning of the gut that when you have a sluggish liver, the first things you'll often notice are an increase in your digestive problems. Bloating, constipation, indigestion, all of these things are signs that your liver is also feeling stressed. The one thing as well, gas and stomach pain is a sign that your liver isn't working because you're having a problem with bile, right? So the liver produces bile and the bile functions to emulsify fats in your diet. So when you're eating food and you're getting lots of gas and lots of pain, your liver is sluggish and it's not producing enough bile. So the digestion and everything starts to slow down and gas becomes more prevalent. So the final sign too of when your liver is sluggish is you can start to see constipation. And if you have constipation going on, your intestines are not functioning at their optimal rate. So the liver isn't making enough bile. Another function of that bile would be to lubricate the intestines and help your stool pass through. So constipation is another way that a sluggish liver can present itself. Something else too that you might notice if your liver is sluggish is body aches and pains. So the liver purifies your blood and it also helps your body produce new blood as well. But when it's under stress, the liver is unable to provide new blood to the muscles, tissues, and the tendons. And this can harm our flexibility. It causes lots of pain. You can get back pain, pain in your joints, even dry eyes is another sign of that as well. Continuous pain of this kind can also contribute to fatigue and all sorts of other things, right? So fatigue, that's another big one. You've got a stressed liver, like I was talking about, all those functions that go on in the body. The liver becomes sluggish, and these different things that it does start to back up. All of its jobs are backing up. And your body has got all these things that need to be done that aren't getting done in the way it wants. And we start to experience fatigue. So having fatigue is another sign of a stressed liver. Another one, mood swings. Believe it or not, your mood can be related to your liver. Mood swings can occur when we're unhappy, when we're stressed. And when the liver is stressed, it will definitely show up as a disturbance in our emotional health. So emotions like anger, impatience, irritability, even confusion, depression, anxiety, all of those things can become more prevalent when we've got a stressed liver. Even worse, when you have a stressed liver, it can affect your decision-making capabilities, right? You can start to experience brain fog, confusion, fatigue, all sorts of different things. The worst thing too is anger, right? Like if you start to get really irritable and having nasty outbursts and things like that, right? You will see that happen when you have a stressed liver. Then there's all sorts of other little tiny signs too that can come along with a stressed liver, but those ones that I just mentioned, they're the main signs, but you can also experience a loss of appetite. You can experience disruptions in your sleep cycles, failing memory, even itchy skin. So there's all sorts of things that can show up with you when your liver is stressed. Apologies for looking down so much, but I have notes made here, so I just keep referring to those. So how do we deal with a stressed liver? What are the things that we can do to support the liver? So there is lots of good things we can do for the liver, which is great. The main thing, of course, I like to recommend is liver foods. It's really funny when I go shopping for my Christmas food at Costco, I always pick up the I Love Beets pre-cooked, pre-packaged beets, because I know after Christmas, my liver is not going to be too happy with me for indulging in sweets and the treats of Christmas. So I know that beets are an amazing liver food. They support the liver, they support bile production, all sorts of good things for the liver. So I always pick up my beets at Costco when I'm picking up my Christmas foods. So it's pretty funny, but I get on the beets after Christmas right away. So beets are an amazing food to support liver function. Another one is Jerusalem artichokes. Jerusalem artichokes support detoxification of the liver and bile production as well. They're another really good one. But there's lots of liver-friendly foods. Beets and Jerusalem artichokes are really big liver superstars, but there's lots of other foods that will support liver function. You can have all sorts of different kinds of fruits, lemons, limes, apples, pears, grapefruits, oranges, pomegranates, all the berries. All of those have great polyphenols that support liver function. Lots of different vegetables, but especially the cruciferous vegetables. Cruciferous vegetables are broccoli and kale, spinach, garlic, onions, burdock root, and watercress. Those are really good for the liver as well. Essential fatty acids, another type of food compound that really supports liver function. And you can find them in cold water fish, things like salmon, tuna, herring, cod, sardines, things like that, or plant sources like chia seeds, flax seeds, hemp seeds, and all sorts of other raw nuts and seeds. Then you've got liver-friendly herbs and spices. So these are culinary herbs, things that you can eat and cook with, and things that support your digestion as well, but they also support the liver. The ones that I really like would be ginger, turmeric, cinnamon, cumin, and rosemary. So there's all sorts of different ways you can use them and cook with them, but they're really good for the liver. My favorite, the flavonoids in dark chocolate. Your liver loves dark chocolate. I'm a huge fan of dark chocolate, but this is another example of how it can be really supportive of your health and the detoxification process. So the flavonoids in dark chocolate, good for the liver, and also green tea. Green tea is another really good food for the liver. So what else have we got here? We did liver superstar foods. We did all the other types of foods. Then there is one more thing that I want to mention that I really love for the liver. I take this as a supplement, and I definitely take it after Christmas, but also I do this supplement probably once a season. Like when the seasons change, I like to take the supplement too, because I kind of feel like every change of season is a good opportunity to, kind of support that detoxification process, right? It's kind of like a cyclical thing that I like to do. So every change of season, I will start taking milk thistle. I don't know if you've heard of it or not, but milk thistle is an amazing supplement for the liver. It's actually the only supplement, the only compound, the silymarin is the name of the compound in milk thistle. The only compound that has been scientifically proven to actually regenerate liver cells. So when you have lots of toxins going through the liver, it can actually cause some of those liver cells to be, damaged and to be killed. So you've actually got death of some of the liver tissue in response to toxicity. Milk thistle is so hepatosupportive, which means it protects the liver, but it also can regenerate cells that have been killed. So taking a cycle of milk thistle is a fabulous, fabulous way to support your liver function and to get yourself back on track if you feel like that's something you want to do. I take it for about a month, directions on the bottle always. But one thing I have to say as a disclaimer is if you're ever going to try a new supplement, run it by your healthcare provider first and just make sure that there's no interactions with that supplement, with any medications you may take or with any conditions you may have. So that is it for me today. We're just doing liver today, but come back around the same time tomorrow afternoon, and we're going to look at the next way that you can support the body in its detoxification. All right, I hope you guys are enjoying the group, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye.